Hello and welcome to the Noob Spearo podcast, where we interview experts, authorities and characters on all things spearfishing. Come and join us after the show at noobspearo.com, the online spearfishing community helping you to become a better Spearo. Here are your hosts for the show, Shrek and Turbo.
G'day, Noob Spearo community, Shrek here. We're interviewing Roman Castro today. He's the president of the San Diego Freediving Club, which has over 160 members. He's also created a very popular online spearfishing blog called Spearoblog. He started that in 2011, where he initially started sharing his spearfishing adventures with friends, but it grew from there into a resource center for new divers. He shares videos, documents his growth as a Spearo, and writes all about spearfishing. Roman also has a spearfishing podcast called The Spear, and he has some great episodes up there with Rob Allen. Good morning, Roman. How's the weather over there in San Diego today, buddy?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's about 76, and it's probably going to hit 80 today.
That's not too bad.
Very good. Hey, Roman, we mentioned that you started your spearfishing blog in 2011, or you started spearfishing in 2011. Where was it and what was it like?
I was engaged at the time, and my fiance and I wanted to go to Maui for just a vacation, a week, and I hadn't done anything in the water, so I tried surfing once or twice, but wasn't really good at it. And I was like, well, if we're going to Maui, I want to do something in the water. So
hey, just quickly, you're not alone there, buddy. I'm a crap surfer as well.
That's awesome. So not only that, I was afraid to try the scuba, and I was like, nah, I'm not doing scuba. That looks so complicated. So I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna learn to snorkel. So I kind of started learning to snorkel, and went out a couple of times in La Jolla Cove, which is like a protected reserve, and you can see all these awesome species of fish. And I wanted to get down there so I could see more fish. So I started looking up how to dive down, and then I discovered spearfishing. Well, I was like, wow, you can do this and shoot fish. So that kind of got me interested in it, and we went out to Maui, and I got hooked up with Spearfish Maui. Jeremy took me out on a shore dive, and I shot my first fish, which was I think it was like a parrotfish.
Wow,
nice.
It was small. It was good, but the cool thing was that my fiance at the time was with us, and she had a little flip cam with us, so she actually recorded me shoot that fish. So it was pretty fun.
Wow,
and
cool.
She was just like, "Yes, I'm marrying a winner here. Look at this.
He's going to provide for our family, one parrotfish at a time." Wow.
One parrotfish at a time, right?
So how deep were you? Was it really clear water?
It was it was awesome. It was beautiful. The water was maybe 100 feet viz, and the depth of that fish was maybe like 30 feet, 20 feet.
Oh, nice.
So
and how good was that feeling shooting that first fish?
Oh wow, it's just indescribable. It's like every part of your being is like, yeah, this is the right thing to do.
Yeah. It is. You connect with some primordial roots there, don't you? And
yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. Did you eat that fish as well?
Yes.
What I like is it was a parrotfish. Like, this is Shrek's fish that he just likes to wound and maim, and I don't know around here, but you sort of get within any distance of them, and they get this massive eye and just start getting nervous and just turn their back and go the other way. It doesn't stop this guy from taking long shots, so hey, no way.
Yeah, no. I regularly lose parrotfish. Lately, I've been trying to just shoot them in the head because they're so soft.
Yeah.
And they twist and they go nuts and they tear out all the time. So,
right.
Thanks for that, Turbo. Thanks for that plug. He's good like this, Roman. He's just always building me up. That's why we do the show together. So that first parrotfish that sticks out for you. That's a great story, and I think we all remember that. Noob Stoke. So this Jeremy guy, did he show you the ropes? Did he get you comfortable with gear and things like that?
Yeah, well, he did a good job. He was pretty much had us in like a classroom situation for like about 4 hours before he took us out on the 2-hour short dive. So it was a good tour. It was a good intro for me. Yeah, and then while I was in the class, or actually while I was diving around in La Jolla before that trip, I I discovered that I can move my eustachian tubes.
Oh,
So like, so I don't have to hold my nose to clear. It was like, wasn't just an awesome thing to find out that you can do. So
hands
Yeah,
free,
that's a
eh?
bonus.
That's very good, man. I've got pretty good eustachian tube control as well, but I'm still
awesome.
old school with my hand most of the time. But let Levi, he's too busy being seasick and vomiting in his snorkel to even equalise most of the time. Luckily, when you only dive to 3 meters, you don't have to equalise.
You actually equalise when you vomit. It's involuntary. You wouldn't believe that. Anyway.
All right, well, let's get on with the interview. So, what's been like your biggest obstacle starting out spearfishing? Like, what's the thing you've had to probably work hardest at to really achieve what you wanted to achieve spearfishing?
Being calm enough that it doesn't affect my breath hold, especially in La Jolla. I guess we rarely see great whites, but there's a lot of sharks. And when you're new, it just plays on your psyche. You know, like it's always in the back of your mind. And if you're too nervous, kind of makes your heart rate go up, and there goes your breath hold.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah, and that's good, honest stuff too. And I guess like, you always meet with that reservation when you meet people. They always say, you tell them you spearfish and they say, oh, what about sharks? It's like the first question you get. So just for people that don't really know much about spearfishing, when did you see your first shark and kind of how did you get around the fear of them?
So this is a funny story. It's actually my one of the scariest moments I had. So the week after I got back from Maui, right? I met somebody in the San Diego Freedivers Club, Justin, and he took me out. He was an awesome dude. He took me and another new guy out. We went out in La Jolla, and I was down there. The water was kind of cloudy. I shot a calico bass, and I didn't have my stringer with me, so Justin said he would carry my fish on his stringer. Went down for a couple dives, and then when I came up, him and the other guy were kind of together, and they're like, "Hey, get over here." So I was like, "All right." I'll swim over. I swam over, and they're like, "Well, we just saw like a shark that was kind of following you, so let's just start heading out." So like, all right. So we start heading out. The new diver is in front of me, about maybe 10 feet. I'm in the middle, and then Justin's behind me. Like we're all making our way to shore, and I look up. I take my head out of the water to see where the front guy is, and he's about 10 feet away. And I turn around to see where Justin is, and I see like the water, like just like kind of like you see like in the Jaws movie where like the water just kind of like frothy, right?
Oh no!
So scary. And so I'm like, geez. So I stick my head in the water so I can see what's happening underwater, and I kind of like start swimming towards it, and I can see the shark kind of like on his leg, and he's like hitting the shark with the butt of his gun.
Wow!
And the shark, I think at that point the shark realized he was just a diver and maybe tasted the neoprene, I don't know. And he was trying to get off the, and I could see him like struggle to get off, and then he popped off and he kind of started swimming towards me.
Wow!
I think just by luck, he just happened to be swimming towards me. At the time, I thought he was coming to get me. Right? This is one of my first or second dives in La Jolla, so I'm freaking out, and I'm like, oh my god! I wonder if this guy's like bleeding to death or something. Yeah. So I take the spear gun I had, and I shot the shark, and
wow!
And it was more as a defense mechanism than anything else. So I was like super scared. I made sure that float line wasn't attached to me in any way, and I just let it go. And I swam for my friend. He's like, "Oh, I'm okay." So that was probably one of the scariest moments. And the funny thing about that gun that I had, it was like a little 38 Special JBL. I got it. I had bought it from that guy during one of our club meetings. Like we had like a gear swap, right? It was like a beat up gun with like rotted bands. He's like, anybody want this gun? Make your first offer. And I was like, $5, I'll take it.
Oh, nice.
So he sold to me for $5. I brought it home, fixed our bands, and then that's the gun that I lost shooting the shark that bit him.
Oh well, that was a good $5.
Right?
Hey,
did you get your money back?
Did that shark actually bite you, mate, or was it just the fish hanging off his belt or something?
I think it was going for the fish hanging off the belt, but he did bite the suit. You can see the teeth marks in the suit.
Wow.
But it didn't actually break skin, which is weird.
Yeah. I had a mate who used to have an old-fashioned zip-up wetsuit at the front. When I first met him, he hated float lines. and he'd actually just stuff the fish down the front of the wetsuit.
Wow.
So here he is, like just swimming around this big burly bucket, like just absolutely crazy stuff. I couldn't do it. No, it freaks me out.
That sounds like good old school alpha male kind of Spearo sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, hey. So the Hoya, just for our listeners, Roman, that's San Diego Bay, is it, or?
That's actually on the coast. It's on the coast off of it's by San Diego, so Pacific side of the West Coast of the U.S.
And what's the terrain like there? Is it like a reef?
Oh,
it's kelp beds.
Yeah, it's part of it's kind of like rocky reef.
Yeah.
And then we have some awesome kelp beds, like with like nice kelp rooms. So depending on when it's colder, the kelp gets really thick.
Yeah.
And you can, from the surface, it looks kind of scary because it's just nothing but kelp. But once you get down there, you can see that it just looks like I don't know, an underwater forest or something.
Sorry, mate. I noticed that you've talked to Terry Mast lately on your blog. Well, you had him at San Diego Freedivers. We got sent some footage from Richard Leonard on his latest DVD of the kelp forest there with Terry Mast. Have you had a chance to dive with him?
I think when Terry was here, those videos are from like one of the islands, like San Clemente Island or Catalina Island.
Yeah. That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to San Clemente Island. It's really nice, but I haven't been to that one where Terry filmed that footage. The kelp here in off La Jolla is pretty good. It's not as clear as it is in Terry's video, but it's nice on good days. It's nice.
So what are sort of like 3 highly desired species that you would want to shoot any day you could, kind of off San Diego there?
Yeah, the most I think in San Diego the most desired fish would be a white sea bass.
Yep.
Those things are impossible to find.
They look cool, man.
They seem to be impossible to find. You see one, and you can dive maybe 20 times, right?
Yeah.
And you'll see it once, and you'll get one shot, and that's it. Your whole season's done.
Okay.
Right, but then you have the really experienced divers that seem to shoot one every time they go out.
Yep. We're familiar with that.
That's me.
Oh, wait till Turbo comes to San Diego, Roman. You're in for a treat. Like,
I'm seriously going to get the last mating pair. Anyway. So what do we got? We got the white sea bass.
You got 2 other species there. Fire away, Roman. What else would you want to shoot on a typical day out?
Well, personally, I really like halibut.
Yep. I think
Like
I've
a
seen
flounder?
you holding up a couple in your blog lately in Spearoblog.com.
Yeah, that's kind of my favorite fish to eat. It just takes seasoning very well, and pretty much you can make it taste like anything with whatever you cook.
What do you season them with, and how do you cook them?
I don't
Sorry,
know,
man. Odd question. It was a bit.
Oh, that's a weird one. Yeah, no worries. Sometimes I'll bread it, make fish tacos. Sometimes I'll make like
Yum.
Because Shrek loves KFC, so what he's basically like, if he could get the Colonel's secret spices on the halibut, man, he's
You did say it held spice as well. I was hoping
so
the Colonel's
funny.
9 secret herbs and spices would go well with it. So thanks for that, Turbo.
Anyway, let's move on. Man, all these fish. Can you give us apart from your first fish being a parrotfish, what's your most memorable fish you've shot, or your most memorable fish story?
I think my most memorable trip was like in 2012. I had been in the club for a while and on the board and doing my part to fix our club's website. And one of our senior members, Matthew Swartout, he took me out for the first time to go blue water hunting. Right?
Awesome.
It was just amazing. It was an awesome day, and it just happened to be one of the most productive days I've ever been on since.
Gotta love them days.
And it was like my first time, so I got ruined right off the bat. The water was beautiful, super clear. I wasn't used to it. The fish looked like they were really close, but it just, it's hard to judge. It's hard to judge the distance with that clarity and having nothing in the background. So that day I shot 2 Dorado, which was my first Dorado, and a couple yellowtail. Yep, couple yellowtail. So it was an awesome day.
How big were the yellowtail you shot?
They they don't get as big here as they do over there. Maybe about like 15 pounds, 10 pounds.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, that's still a good, we call them kingfish here.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter sort of what size you shoot them, like anything over probably 12 pounds, they do start giving you a bit of curry, don't they?
Yeah, it was fun.
And the mahi or the dorado, how big were they? And that they're pretty cool when you shoot them, aren't they?
Yeah, those things take off.
Yeah.
There was nothing huge, but I mean, for being my first fish, I was super stoked. I'd say about maybe like 10 pounds each or something, 10, 12 pounds.
Yeah. And down here, they're sort of, other Spearos will tell you that they're a really sustainable sort of fish to shoot because they reproduce really quickly and they're not commercially harvested in the Southern Hemisphere, I don't think. So I love eating them. I like shooting them too. They're a beautiful looking fish too, aren't they?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, that's awesome. I love the, sometimes they look blue, sometimes they look green, yellow. That's a beautiful fish, yeah.
And Dorado, Spanish for gold?
Yes.
Yeah,
actually for golden.
Yeah. I like to educate Shrek on all things worldly.
He's trying to. I got started speaking Spanish, Roman. It lasted about 2 months. He likes to remind me about it every now and then.
That's so funny.
Anyway, I'm owning you today.
Oh, he's all over me like a rash. Hola.
Yeah. Okay. So,
what's I guess one of the funniest things you've seen out spearfishing, Roman?
Let's see. We have one of our senior members. We call him a mossback member.
What? Sorry,
a mossback.
A mossback member because they have moss on their back from diving so much.
Right. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, like it.
And this guy, he's a character. Definitely, he's an awesome dude. And one time I was on a boat with him, and he asked me a question, and I look over because when somebody asks you a question, you want to look over so you can look him in the face. And he's wearing like a nude colored Speedo, right? And it's just like I'm like, whoa! Did I just see what I think I saw? It's like, no. Okay, wait. Okay, cool. So it was just like it's a very funny thing, and then like I come to realize that that's his thing. Yeah. So a lot of people have seen the flesh colored Speedo.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
That's really cool. And have you played underwater hockey, Roman? Because those guys, they love to get their stuff out. Man, you just, yeah, it's all, you get some awkward moments in the pool with those guys, I tell you.
It's not for me. It's too much man on man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right? Yeah. I never played it, but I just realized what's happening, yeah.
Yeah. It's just like this crowd of guys sort of over and under each other, all in Speedos. Like, it makes for some awkward moments, but
yeah. Great sport of kings. All right.
Moving on.
All right, mate. We want to open the Veterans Vault at this stage. So
the Veterans Vault is where we ask our guests to talk about an area of sort of deep expertise or experience they've had and feel passionate about to share. So what would you like to talk about with our audience, Roman?
So, especially here in California, and there's a lot of ocean access issues that are affecting our community. Beaches being closed down, so people that don't have boats, for example, it's getting harder and harder to find a place to dive out of from shore.
Okay.
So there's a lot of work that we've done as a club to try to protect those rights.
Okay.
It's an ongoing struggle, and it's very difficult to get, help, and get people motivated to basically protect their own fishing grounds, right?
Yeah.
I mean, part of it makes sense. You want to protect the environment, but you want to protect it from commercial fishers and big industry, not from Spearos. Spearos take like less than 1% of the world's take, right?
Yeah.
So it just seems kind of unfair that since we're more visible, right? You see a Spearo on the beach with a spear gun. The spear gun looks aggressive, right?
Yeah.
So you automatically assume something's going on, like something that people don't realize that everybody on the beach with a spear gun should be or is licensed to do that.
No, that's cool. We had a guy on the show recently. His name's Simon Tripp from New South Wales, and he sort of has a similar sort of focus, Roman. He lobbies government, and he sort of does what he can within his sphere of influence to promote Spearo's rights here in Australia, because I guess extreme conservation, they sort of get carried away with it, and Spearos do cop a bit of flack. But we have a motto in Australia. It's safe, sustainable, selective, and we try and stick to that ethos and just take what we need. And people aren't aware of how selective the sport is. And I think, like, when you're on the beach, just for our audience, like, if you just smile at the public and say hello, and when they ask you questions, you just answer them. Like, it's sort of, because I think people have a fear of the unknown, and what they don't understand they fear, and they make assumptions about things that aren't true.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and Spearos can be a little bit apathetic when it comes to making sure we do retain our rights. So you guys over there, you have to be licensed to spearfish, do you?
Yeah, we pay about it's about, ends up being like $55 or so, $55. Part of it is for a fishing license, and part of it is for an oceans enhancement like booster.
Okay.
Which basically goes towards funding all the stuff that regulates fishing.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's different parts of Australia operate differently. So there's licenses in some states and not in others. It's interesting to hear how you guys sort of work it over there. I've been reading up a little bit lately about it. So.
Yeah, I just found out. I just did a trip to South Australia, Victoria and South Australia, and down there you can take crayfish on scuba.
Yep.
Wow.
Which is, like, I thought it was crazy.
No, New Zealand's the same. And in America, a lot of states spearfish on scuba there too, don't they?
Yeah. Yes.
And it's a different kind of sport. I was reading something someone said the other day. It's not how we do it here, but and there's a lot of kind of ignorance around and why they do it. But often it's deep and dirty and cold as well, and it's the only way you can do it, isn't it?
Yeah. It gets so one part, like for example, La Jolla can be on a good day, could be maybe like 20 feet of viz, 25 feet on a really, really good day. And then it could just be really surgy and 5 feet of visibility. It's just muck, just like cloudy. Yeah, exactly. But even then, guys will go out and look for bugs, like lobsters or whatever.
Yep. Cool. All right. Next part of the show is the Fast 5 Facts for Noobs. It's like where we like to ask our guests to, if you were starting all over again, what 5 bits of advice would you have liked to have had, Roman?
I guess the first one, the most important one, would be to just be calm and get comfortable in the water before you even start looking for fish. Because I've noticed that when you're calm, your breath will just extend. You can hold your breath longer. Well, I can hold my breath longer when I'm super calm. So that, with the addition of making sure you practice your surface intervals so that you're breathing for at least twice as long as you were down for.
Yep.
And so that'll be one.
So, Shrek, you're looking at a minute's breather, twice your dive time.
Exactly.
Oh, he's suggesting that I dive for 30 seconds there. 30 seconds is generally a pretty good dive for me. And
anyway, sorry.
Okay, no, it's all good. Okay, Roman, we got that one.
So for the guys that dive for 30 seconds, you want to have the most time on the bottom, right? So instead of kind of like diving down and looking around on your way down, just go straight for the bottom.
Yep.
And enjoy your 20 to 30 seconds on the bottom doing some hunting instead of on the way back up.
Yeah. Go straight to the bottom.
So I guess number 2 would be go straight for or not for the bottom, or just go straight for your target depth. Don't dilly in between.
Okay. Yep. Cool. Number 3.
Start with the pole spear, and if you're already good with the pole spear, take it out even then every couple dives. Like I still dive with the pole spear here and there just to get my practice in. Cool.
Yeah, I started with a pole spear. We interviewed Cameron Kirkconnell the other day, and he shot a 219-pound yellowfin tuna with one, and he's been designing a new line with.
I think it was Headhunter.
Headhunter.
I hope it's Headhunter. Ugh.
And so that was a really interesting conversation, Roman. That's good. That's sort of being reinforced. So you started with a pole spear?
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
cool.
it just gets you, it forces you to be stealthy. It forces you to be calm. It forces you to be, I guess, non-threatening to the fish, right?
Yep.
If you're threatening to the fish, then they're gonna see it and they're gonna just spook. Especially here, like the fish here, like the calicos here.
Yep.
Those fish are already super spooky. So I've been trying to get a big one on a pole spear. So that's my goal for the year.
Cool.
Mate, I'm gonna join you in that. But once you do these fast 5 facts, we'll never talk to you about pole spears. I'm getting right into it.
Okay, number 4, Roman.
Especially with the new guys, muzzle control. It's very important. Muzzle control and don't load your gun outside of the water. Your spear can travel a lot further in the air than it can in the water. So it's just asking for trouble. Okay. Also, part of that would be the muzzle control. If you're diving with a buddy, don't have your hand on the trigger or your finger on the trigger. Just if you're not going to shoot, keep your hand off the trigger. Hold your gun about midway.
Yep.
Just and make sure you're not pointing at anybody at any time. Even if the safety's on, all that good stuff, it's still best practice.
Cool. All right, and number 5.
I would say, well, besides the normal always dive with a buddy, is dive within your buddy's limits.
Dive to your buddy's limits. Yep, cool.
Dive within your buddy's limits. Yeah, because what's the point if I can go like 60 feet and my buddy can only go 30 feet? Something happens, he's not going to be able to get down there to get me.
Yeah, that's right. Who was that? Simon Tripp said the same thing, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, no, good advice.
Okay, I'll sum them up. Give them back to you, Roman. So, number 1, we had be calm, get comfortable, and that's a repetitive point we get from a lot of our guests, and just learning to relax in the water.
I think that's 4 from 4.
Yeah, yep. Yeah. And you mentioned, you added to that, get your surface intervals right. So number 2 was go straight to the bottom or your desired depth. Don't sort of dilly-dally in between. Number 3 was start with a pole spear, and you mentioned numerous advantages to that. Number 4 was muzzle control. So don't load your gun out of the water, don't finger the trigger, and don't point it at anyone. And a lot of people that have been trained with firearms know that unless you're going to shoot, you don't have your finger on a trigger. But like spearfishing, we seem to treat it like it's not a firearm, but it is. And that's what a trigger guard's for. You have your finger resting over it, and then when you want to take the shot, you just pull it back. You only got to move it, 1 inch or 20 mil. And number 5 was dive within your buddy's limits, which is a great bit of advice because it's no use diving 20 meters because you can dive 20, but your buddy can only dive 10. And then, you shallow water blackout, you whatever, and he can't get you.
Yeah, that would be it.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Can we add, I was going to add a 6th real quick. Is when you're looking for the fish and you see that fish you want to shoot, don't fixate on it. Don't stare at it.
Okay. So they sort of learn your hunting techniques a bit better.
Yeah.
I notice here with your pole spear fact, and Cameron Kirkconnell said the same thing. It seems to really enhance your hunting techniques. Like you sort of have to. It forces you to become a better hunter because you've got to get that much closer to the fish.
Right.
So that's my little input there.
Have you got a pole spear story for us, Roman? Just quickly.
Or some advice.
What's a memorable? Yeah, okay. Some advice.
Some advice, like maybe when you're closing distance on a fish. Say you see it from the surface, you can either dive straight down on it. They kind of, from my experience, it's difficult for them to see straight up. And the other thing would be if you're going to close distance on it, use the structure. Like for example, if there's a boulder, come up behind the boulder, like get to the bottom, swim up to the boulder, and then look over the boulder where the fish would be. That way, you're using that structure to block your not only your the fish from seeing you, but you're also blocking your
profile.
No, when you're swimming through the water, you're creating like a wave of pressure.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
That the fish can sense with their lateral lines.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that pressure is going to get deflected by whatever structures in between you and the fish.
Nice.
That's good. I like that. That's really good.
Can we talk brands?
Sure.
Roman, because Christmas is coming up and I need to put an order in. So I want to get some advice on what's good and what's not.
What brand do you use, Roman, and what do you like about it?
For spear gun?
For a pole spear.
Pole spear.
Pole spear. Oh, for a pole spear, I'm actually using Cameron's pole spear.
Okay.
It's a Rife Cameron Kirkconnell edition. It's a 3-piece carbon fiber. It's a 6 foot, but with the shaft, with the spike, it ends up being like 7 feet.
So is that a spear you'd recommend to people sort of starting out, or is that more at the price end of the game?
I think that's like the high end of the pole spear. I kind of, when I got it, I was like, I'm gonna go for it, and I want to buy one pole spear and just have it and have it be a nice one.
Sometimes that's the best way to go, isn't it?
Because you end up spending more money just buying, upgrading, and you have a bunch of pole spears you don't use.
Yeah, that's a good call. Yep.
So,
yeah.
But if you do want to start off, just if you're starting spearfishing and you're not sure if you're even gonna like the sport, I would say get one of those cheap fiberglass pole spears.
Yep.
They tend to bow when you cock it. So a good fix for that is to twist it after you cock it, and then the bow kind of goes away.
And what's the price point for one of those? I think
it's like, depending on what tip you get, it's probably like $30, $40.
That is a good place to start, isn't it? For
right?
some? Yeah.
Super cheap, yeah.
Going back to the top end of the market, do you use a slip tip on your pole spear?
No, it's just a flopper shaft.
Okay.
Oh, so like the flopper shaft sort of just screws into the end of the spear.
Correct.
Right. And what's what is it? Is that for any reason? Are they faster than the slip tip setup, or?
No, it's just less cumbersome for me. When I go with the pole spear, I'm not expecting to see a huge like tuna or anything like Cameron.
Yeah, this is the problem. I've seen him do it, and I want one, and I picture myself doing it.
It depends on what you're hunting, isn't it? And look, Cameron's he's a big trophy hunter a lot of the time, and he does shoot fish just for. We were talking with him about it, and he sometimes he just likes shooting a feed, and he'll just shoot a couple of little fish for the plate at night, and. But a lot of the stuff we see is the big trophies he shoots, and obviously want slip tip with that. But so you don't think you need one just for sort of reef hunting for smaller?
Yeah, I don't. What I do is I run a float line from the band. Yep. So after I shoot, I can let it go. It's not a big deal. I won't lose it. Cool. And that's more just for me to or also like I can use it to mark a hole, right? So I'm down and I see a fish go into a hole. I'll leave the pole spear there where the fish was, and I go back, have my breathe up, and then go back down, follow my float line, and then cock it and shoot the fish if I need to.
Cool. I do that with crayfish or bugs, as you were calling them before.
Yep.
I'll leave my gun in the hole because sometimes it's just so hard to find that same bit of terrain again.
And when you've got that, when you've got your float line connected to your rubber, do you have to like bunch that float line up like in one hand so it's got a bit of play once you let it go?
I have a little loop of Spectra. I basically tie a Spectra into a little bit of Spectra line into a loop, and then I put it through kind of like a rubber band, right?
Okay.
Or you loop it through itself, and then once I loop it through itself, I clip the float line clip onto the little loop. That way, the metal clip is not against my hand when I use a pole spear.
Awesome. Cool. We've got some gold out here today, Roman. Thanks for sharing with us and our audience.
No worries.
It's awesome.
No worries.
It's been really awesome to have you on the show. I think we can wrap it up. But if people want to find you, obviously there's San Diego Freedivers, but Spearoblog's very popular in the States and more widely. Can people connect with you there, Roman?
Yeah, definitely. I'm on Twitter at spearoblog.com. That's Spearo with the O. Yep. And my website, of course, spearoblog.com. You can go on there and join our email list, our tribe, and get all the latest updates that we put.
Excellent,
mate. We'll link up Spearoblog on our show notes and your podcast as well, Roman, and people can tune in and find you there on the Spear.
Awesome.
Plenty of gold there. Well, I think that's time to wrap it up. Stay on the line so we can get our producer to have a quick chat with you when we're finished. But thanks for coming on the show, Roman. It's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Roman.
Thanks for listening today, Noob Spearo. If you'd like to find out any more information from today's guest, then head over to noobspearo.com.
We really appreciate you guys as listeners. Without you, we couldn't do the show. So if you want to help us out, leave us a review on iTunes or head on over to noobspearo.com and sign up for our newsletter. We won't send you crap.
So that's all from us. A big hooroo. We hope to see you soon.
Shrek over and out.